Our world can feel so cluttered, right? So chaotic. Well, there's this design philosophy that's like a deep breath of fresh air. We're going to dive into Scandinavian design today, but not just as a look. We're talking about it as a blueprint for a warmer, simpler, and way more meaningful life.
No, really, just pause for a second and think about that. What if walking through your front door felt like getting a warm hug, a genuine sanctuary from all the noise outside? That feeling, that's the absolute heart of what we're talking about.
Okay, so this is super important because it clears up a huge misunderstanding. A lot of times when you hear minimalism, you probably picture something stark, maybe even a little cold and empty. But Scandinavian design, that's what we call warm minimalism. It's not about having less for the sake of it, it's about having just the right things. It's cozy, it's human, and honestly, it's just so good for the soul.
All right, let's really get into it. This goes so much deeper than just, light-colored wood and neutral sofas. It's a whole philosophy, and it was born from a very real human need for comfort, for clarity, in the places we call home.
And where it comes from is just fascinating. You've got these two powerful forces colliding. First, imagine those long, dark Nordic winters. That would create a deep, primal need to make your home as bright and light-filled and comforting as humanly possible, right? And then you have this amazing social ideal called democratic design. This idea that beautiful, functional things shouldn't just be for the rich, they should be for everyone.
So if you really want to get Scandinavian design, you have to understand the ideas that give it its soul. And these aren't just cool-sounding words, they are entire mindsets that shape every single design choice. I'm sure you've heard of hygge, right? Pronounced hygge. This is really the emotional heart of the whole philosophy. Think about that warm glow from a candle, or curling up with a soft wool blanket, or just sharing a simple, amazing meal with friends. It's all about creating an atmosphere of cozy contentment. It's a feeling way more than it is a look. And hygge is just the beginning. The Norwegians have koselig, which is a very similar vibe. Then there's the Swedish concept of lagom, and this one is so key. It means not too much, not too little, just right. And we can't forget friluftsliv, this deep, profound love for the outdoors. And you're going to see how that one shapes the entire look and feel.
Okay, so we've talked about the why, the philosophy, the feelings. But how does that translate into the actual stuff we see and touch? Let's break down the core elements.
Well, the materials are pulled straight from the Nordic landscape itself. You've got lots of light woods, think oak, birch, ash, and their main job is to reflect light and add this organic warmth. And then you balance all that wood with these incredibly soft, natural textiles. We're talking wool for warmth, linen because it's so breathable, and sheepskin for just pure, luxurious comfort.
And this brings us right back to that idea of friluftsliv, that love of the outdoors. The design is what you'd call biophilic, which is a fancy way of saying it's all about connecting with nature. Maximizing natural light, that's priority number one. Indoor plants are treated like living sculptures, and wood is just everywhere. It's a constant, gentle reminder of the forest.
So it's no surprise that the color palette is also straight from nature. The foundation is usually warm whites and soft grays, which do an amazing job of amplifying that precious daylight. But when color is used, it's always muted and natural. Think about the pale blue of a winter sky or the sage green of moss in a forest. It's all designed to create this incredibly serene, calm feeling.
All right, so what about the actual furniture itself? This is where that democratic design principle really shines. A piece has to be beautiful, of course, but it absolutely has to be functional.
The golden rule, the absolute mantra, is form follows function. You see these super clean lines, these beautiful organic shapes that just feel timeless. You have masters like Hans Wegner, who created icons like the wishbone chair. It's not just a gorgeous piece of sculpture, it's also incredibly comfortable and ergonomic. Every single object has to earn its place in the room through both its usefulness and its beauty.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you bring this into your own home? Well, this next part is your action plan, your practical guide to making it happen. Here we go, your 5-step path to simplicity. Number 1, maximize light. Do whatever you can. Number 2, declutter, but with intention. We'll talk about that. 3, choose quality over quantity. Fewer, better things. 4, actively embrace hygge. And finally, number 5, bring nature indoors. See? It's a simple, totally doable framework. And especially when you're decluttering, I want you to keep that one word in your mind, lagom. Remember, not too much, not too little.
It's your North Star. You're not trying to create some sterile, empty museum. You're aiming for just right. That perfect balance of having exactly what you need and what you love and nothing more.
All right, so as we start to wrap this up, let's just zoom out for a second. What's the big takeaway here? What does bringing this philosophy into your home really mean for your life?
You know, this quote really says it all. The most profound luxury lies not in having everything, but in having exactly what nourishes your life. That just perfectly captures the whole idea, doesn't it? True luxury isn't about collecting more stuff. It's about curation. It's about choosing to surround yourself only with things that genuinely support and nourish you. And that brings me to one last thought for you. And I really want you to take a moment and think about this. Forget about trends, forget what you think you're supposed to have. What is the one single object in your home that truly, deeply brings you joy? The answer to that question, well, that's the first step. That's the beginning of your own journey into this way of living.